Good morning. Morning, everybody. Hope you are well. Morning, Aaron. Morning, Amira. Morning, Silver. Let me know in the chat. I think I'm coming through okay, but just let me know just in case. Yep, thank you, Silver. Appreciate it. Hope everybody's well. Before I get into the stream, morning, Audrey. Morning, Ash. Good to see you back, mate. Before we get into the stream, I want to talk about this US 30 Dow Jones aggressive entry. So obviously now we've come back up yesterday after being stopped out. Okay, that's fine, no problem. But what I want to do is, because we were probably about I don't know what we were, maybe about 2R up, right? So this is how, again, I always think forward testing a strategy is better. I know it takes longer. I'm not in any rush to get this going just now, but I need to decide what do I do in this situation, okay? Because, again, like I'm saying, I'm 2R up, so if I'm placing 4 or 5K on this trade or whatever it is, right, I'm 8,000, let's just, for example, I'll say I'm $8,000 up and I end up losing 4K, okay? What do I do here? Do I say, okay, we got the 2R, do I put my stop loss here? I'm not entirely sure. So what I'm going to do, and again, this is how I go through and how I develop. You can see how, you know, as we go along, we're starting to realizing structures, and now I want to start to realize what I do with my stop loss. Do I move it to break even after 1R, after 2R? We'll have to wait and see. So I'm just going to write in here, 2R up, ended up 2R up, didn't break zone, losing trade. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to make notes because we forget. Like, I forget what this was. This is why I'm trying to make notes now, because you can see the development of this strategy as we go along. Obviously, USD yen will be a winning trade. That stop will be, at the moment, at break even because it's broken structure. But if we get a setup like this, let me just save this. If I get a setup, morning James, mate. If I get a setup like this, I need to figure out, because again, I've got to think about my emotions now. I've got to think about my emotions here. What is my emotional What's my emotions gonna be when I'm, let's say, 8 grand up and that immediately cuts to 2 or 3, right? It's going to be a bit frustrating. How do I combat that? You know, do I want to take a full loss when I'm up 2R? Probably not. So again, it's something that I need to develop, and this is what you guys should be doing. Never mind. Okay, yes, we have to make sure a strategy is profitable. We have to make sure we have our edge. But 80%, 70% is what? It's the emotional side of trading. So you've got to think about, how are you going to feel when this comes? Are you going to be annoyed? Are you okay with losing this? And, you know, with your strategy saying, well, okay, in our big winners, we make a lot of money. You know, is there going to be trades that come up in here and come back down? Is the majority of trades going to make me money by leaving my stop loss there, or is it not? So again, I've not placed any money on that. This is absolutely fine. I don't mind this happening because it allows me to have a better understanding of a strategy I'm in place or trying to put in place. Morning. Oh God, I forgot your name, Lip. My apologies. Let me just go back and see. Sorry, mate. Lip, was it Dill. Morning, Dill. I'll remember it. It might take me a little bit of time. So US 30, I'm out of that on the aggressive strategy. Currently still on 11.6, which is good. And yeah, we move, we continue. As I said, with USD yen. USD yen is still, that's not USD yen. USD yen is still moving well, and at the moment I'm just waiting for that dot. That's all I'm doing, waiting for that dot. It is a little bit climactic at the moment. It will need a pullback, but as long as we don't crash down, yeah, we'll wait and see. I think let me just calculate this. So our stop was, and I did actually see this down here, by the way, but I didn't take it. I just did it properly. So 120 pips, and we're up 280 pips. So what's that? 180, 240, 2 point something R at the moment. And yeah, that's good. Let's see how it goes. Okay, markets today. What are we doing? We're pushing on. We are pushing on. Yesterday was the first day that I said I'm out my bias from my ABC, wasn't it? And then look what happened. It starts to push on from this area. What do I think about the markets? We've broken through quite a major area here for me. This is our anchor to the downtrend on the 4-hour chart, which is quite significant. Actually, we've not closed above it. Sorry, that's wrong. This 4-hour bar will determine whether we close above it. I worry a little bit about this movement from deep. I'm worried about a snapback. I don't think much has changed fundamentally, right? I don't believe anything has really gotten better from a fundamental perspective. However, as we know, things can be priced in. Morning, Ifo. So, we're 25 minutes from London Open. Let's wait to see how this candle closes before we determine what we're doing. We still aren't getting the correlation with the markets. I believe if we look at, for example, the Aussie yen, it's probably coming off a little bit, right? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Well, it's coming back up, sorry. I'm completely wrong on that. So, yeah, it's looking a little bit more risk on. If we close above, it would be a little bit better, but I wouldn't discount some more volatility coming in. But do I go back with my original bias of this? Maybe I do. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad weekly closure. What are we? Today we are in Wednesday, still 2 days, not massive volume coming in, but we don't expect the kind of same volume as we got when the news was fresh about the fundamental situation. What do I think about it? You know, slight, is this a rising structure? I mean, it's almost a good rising 4 pattern, rising 5 pattern here, which is an igniting pattern. We've got good volume here. We have lowering volume in the middle, but we would have liked a little bit more volume on our outside engulfer. However, the pattern is still there. It looks less of a corrective than it did in the past, but then we look at this. This still came back, although that situation was fresh. So, you know, we're at the 20 period. We've rejected the 20 period a few times here previously, 1, 2, 3. It'll be interesting to see how this daily closes. If we close above here, this could be good for the markets. So I know we're flip-flopping around as each day comes, but I mean, in situations like this, that's going to happen. We're going to be volatile. But if I'm going to give my bias, I like it up. I like it up. You know, certainly if we close above that area, and certainly if we close above the 20, I could eat my hat tomorrow. But hey, that's what it looks like right now. So, yeah, looking at selling the dollar, looking at selling the Swiss, not the dollar, sorry, looking at selling the yen, looking at selling the Swiss right now seems to be not bad, not bad. Dollar is within this corrective. I have got this on my list. I don't think it's digested enough. I usually like to see a tag of that 50. We've not quite got there yet. You know, we're almost there. I'll move this down, sorry. You know, as I said, dollar pairs do like this 50 for me. Maybe we continue in this complex before hitting that. Possibly something like this for continuation in that dollar to the upside. It still is nice. The daily is starting to look better day by day, i.e. 20 period is catching up. We are getting that correction potentially through time rather than through price. You know, with the expected rate hike, I mean, yeah. This is the thing, like it could be priced in, it could not be. We'll have to wait and see, but dollar looks good to the upside. You know, I think we do need a little bit of digestion there. If I get what I want on this 4 hour, you'd probably get that, right? If we do get what we want, something, I don't know, something like this, creating our head and shoulders V reversal, that would be pretty good. And that could be a potential trade for continued dollar strength to the upside. So reason to enter, looking for some signal if you've got some dollar setups to go long, would make sense for me on that 4 hour. On that 4 hour chart. I mean, it is pushing now. Yeah, that would be my bias. I think it does come down to the 50, but it may not get there. It may not, yeah, obviously it may not get there. No, I think it comes down to the 50. I think it corrects a little bit more before moving to the upside. If I'm going to give my bias, that's what I'm going to say it is. Okay, watch this today. I've done the DXY. USD ZAR was something I had this morning, but it's kind of gone away from me in terms of the long aspect. So I was looking here. On this V reversal, we were kind of pulling in, and then we've obviously fallen down. So that long bias at the moment, or the long setup, is gone. However, the 4 hour and daily is still here. we're in this corrective. This is starting again to look a little bit better as we continue digesting this basing structure. It's getting to that point where we are digesting it quite well. It was a good call not taking that aggressive strategy, by the way, the aggressive entry in there. As I said, I didn't think it was quite enough, and that proved to be right. But I do need this to start to come down now. You know, if we do push on, then that's okay, we take it off. But I do need this to start to come down, so we kind of disregard this daily outside bulging gopher, this daily OBE on that 200. Again, we could be getting reaction off this daily. It still does look good on the daily for a potential short as well. I just need a little bit more bearish price action for me to do that. So USDs are not a bad hedge play if we do see some dollar weakness coming in. Morning, Nick, mate. Morning. Okay, USDs are Euro Pound. Euro Pound. Euro Pound, one of Omar's ones. I had it on my snake guy. I had it on my my list. But Omar did send it as well. Looking at this inverted V reversal in this corrective structure. 200 may be an issue, but we won't know that until it potentially sets up for a breakout retest move to the downside. I was looking at this long yesterday. That obviously did not set up. And I did have my trepidations about whether this was enough for the impulse. The daily did look okay. And we got that fake out. Just shows the importance, again, just shows the importance of waiting for that real digestion. I mean, if you think about the 70-30 rule, markets trend 30% of the time, Ranger pullback 70. I wasn't quite sure whether this ABC was enough. And it did push on, it pulled from quite deep, or pushed from quite deep, got that fake out. So let's see, yeah, maybe. Confluence here on the daily with our bearish hammer here. And, you know, looks like a slight fake. We are still on a downtrend. We've not breached these highs. So Euro Pound could be a potential decent short. Bitcoin. I think I've had Bitcoin on my list for how long? Weeks. I'm still trying to get into them. Litecoin I don't think is no, Litecoin's gone for me. The retest isn't right. Isn't right. I don't like this bar here, and I don't like this bar here yesterday, so I'm going to take that off. My love affair with Litecoin is gone, but Bitcoin I do like. I was looking at this morning, and you know, if we think about USD yen, I thought this was, you know, the candle with USD yen was probably a bit big, essentially large in range. You know, we could say, well, is that an aggressive entry? It's not. It's too big for me to take that as an aggressive entry. However, it is a bearish sign. I'm not sure if something fundamental came out about crypto. Anybody know in the past 8 hours or something? But big rejection there. We've completed our V reversal. Within this, we could call it an ABC if we really wanted to. Looking for this to come back down for a break to the downside. Daily is still setting up. You know, with these large candles, by the way, we do expect some sort of retracement within them. 20 period, 200 periods curling down. So just need some bearish price action into Bitcoin. Again, on the daily chart, I need some price action around this B wave. So A, B, C. If I get some more price action here, look, this looks, if it closes like this is great. Actually, if that closes like that, that's an aggressive entry. As long as we get volume coming in. This is third structure, right? Third structure, lower low. You know, at B wave, V reversal in there. Yeah, that would absolutely be an aggressive entry. If it finishes like this, obviously we need volume to increase from there. But in terms of breakout, real money, looking for this to tag the area to take a break underneath B wave. I still like it. It's just taking its time. It's deciding what it wants to do, right? So what do you guys think? Are you crypto bulls? Are you crypto bears? Do you think it wants to come down a bit more, or do you think we're at the end where it starts to rise? I just think Bitcoin wants to hit 30K. I do, and I hope it goes further on than that, i.e. further down, because as big of a discount I can get on Bitcoin, I would be absolutely happy with that. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to go down to there, but how great would it be if it did? You know, imagine if you bought Bitcoin back in the day. And this is the thing, if it does go down, people are going to be scared. Like, you're happy, put 10% of your investment into Bitcoin, Ethereum. It's absolutely, absolutely a long-term investment for me anyway. Bearish on Bitcoin up to 24K, 24. So underneath these lows. Why 24, silver? 24. Let me zoom out. So 24 is roughly around here. So where, yeah, so why 24? Roughly this resistance support area. Between 20 and 27. Yeah, I mean 20 and 27. $28K 30 at best. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's I mean, it just I mean, look at that. If we look at it from a purely technical perspective, how nice does that look? If that was a Forex pair, right? Think about, forget if it was Bitcoin. If that was anything else, you'd say this looks great to the downside. Okay? So if we think about, is this the corrective from this area? In which case, you know, if you think about the FX propulsion strategy where your TP is the 161.8, right, which is basically equidistant to this movement, you could be expecting something like that, right? From an FX propulsion point of view. In which case we get down to 15, 16. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But it does look good. I mean, it does look good. Shorting Bitcoin is certainly my bias. But let's see. I'm not going to put a pen. I don't really put if it. I would say 28.30. I have a pending order just in case. So you got a pending order at 30. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. Oh, you're buying it. I have a pending order just in case. You're buying it. You're buying it. Where are you buying it? A pending order where? You buy it, would you? I mean, I don't disagree with I mean, dollar cost averaging. Personally, I wouldn't be buying it, but I mean, you could be right. You could be right. Bitcoin will do what it wants to do. 29 100. 29 100. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I get you. Sorry. I thought you were talking about now. I thought you were talking about now. Yeah, 30,000, 29 100. Yeah, absolutely. Don't mind that at all. Okay, USD NOK. USD NOK, again, one I've been looking at for a while. This, and here we go. Here could be another aggressive entry. If this closes on volume, that absolutely for me is another aggressive entry that I'll be taking. God, we could have two recently. From here, third structure. Yep, that would be an aggressive entry for me for a breakout perspective. Looking at something like this to get me in to the upside. I've gone through the daily. I've gone through the weekly. You guys know I really like where it is. It's a trade I want to be involved in. You know, I am tempted, thinking it's the 16th of March. Do I take this? This is where the emotion heights of the FTMO bloody come in it? So if that, I mean, it's not closed yet. We need to wait for that 4-hour closure before I think about taking it. But certainly a very good hammer bar. As long as we get increasing volume on it, yeah, that would be an aggressive entry for me personally. USD NOK to the upside. But in terms of breakout, from here, looking for price action to tag this area again. I would need another reload because at the moment your stop loss is there. So something like this, risk reward a little bit better to get me into the upside. I mean, we can just see it squeezing in, right? You can just see the squeeze. That's the premise of all these patterns, these pre-breakout patterns is we're looking for price to increase, i.e. our higher highs into the area as we continue to tag it and reduce the significance of this loan. We're just banging on the door. Banging on the door. Sellers, remember, markets are made up of individuals. They're getting less profit as we go along. They're going to start to become worried. Boom, off we go to the upside. Thank you very much. USD NOK to the upside. USD NOK, USD ZAR, I've gone through. Aussie Swiss, I believe Aussie Swiss is probably gone. But let's have a look on the 4 hour. I was looking at a counter trend idea. We could potentially be in for a possible ABC. With how the markets are looking, I wouldn't be surprised if this does push. With how this momentum is looking at the moment. But essentially, I would be looking at something like this to go short on Aussie Swiss, with the idea that it sets up as this 20 and as this 200 become a wee bit closer, so our break is underneath that. But I have a feeling that it may not happen. I mean, we could get this with Aussie Swiss. I would be more inclined to say that this would turn into a complex with what we're doing now because of the movement here. I was actually going through with Amira, mentoring client. So I'm mentoring Amira. We were going through the ABC this morning. So this decent impulse to the upside, for the newer members here, this pullback is not enough for me. So this is one of the reasons why I love this ABC, right? It's because we want... Actually, what time is it? 11:50. Do you know what? I'll go through a quick format my ABC just for the newer members because I was doing it this morning. I think it's quite good. So within our ABC... Actually, do you know what? I won't do that right now. I'll go through my final. I'll go through your guys' pairs, and then if you want to stay on where I'll talk about the ABC, you can stay on after that. So I'll go through that first. I'll go through your pairs first that you've asked about. That's mainly me for today. I think the one probably closest setup would be USD NOK. We're looking at USD NOK and Bitcoin for potential aggressive entries. UZAR still got a bit to go. Aussie Swiss probably not. And dollar still got a bit to go. So I want to make a trade, but I just can't right now. I'm waiting for the right setup. But if I do get to the point, I actually asked FTMO for extension. They wouldn't give me it because I've already had one. So I'm basically have to pass this or fail it by the 12th of April. And yeah, it's getting. I mean, I know I've still got time, but it's getting a little bit worrisome, right? So maybe in a couple of weeks' time I'll be out for some of your ideas. Nick, get some 5 or 6 hours for me. That hopefully the one that I take wins it. If I don't get a trade, obviously, I might just be at. God, I've got to take something here. Anyway, let's go into some questions. I think we had Omar. So Aussie Swiss, Omar, yeah, I talked about Aussie Swiss. I was with you on that one. EURUCAD. Okay, EURUCAD 30-minute chart. EURUCAD. Anything you guys want me to look at, put in the chat and I'll go through it. EURUCAD, what time frame are you looking at? 30-minute. 30-minute, you're looking here. I'm not a massive fan of that, to be honest, Omar. What I normally like to see is, if we're creating our patterns, and certainly a counter trend pattern, we'd want the market to do something like this to create it, i.e. our cut with handle here. I don't particularly like taking these kind of levels, unless it, as I said, unless it comes down, retests it, and then creates that pattern, which makes sense. We haven't tagged this area here as well. So with this, I mean, I would understand it. I would understand this. I would get it. But we'd certainly need a tag of this area from this price action here. So that's one of the main things we want to see with these levels is tags of the area. Because in my mind, right, these support areas, the orders haven't been filled here. So I want the orders to be filled, and we've not got that at this area. So for me, this wouldn't be valid. But I can see your reasoning. I think higher time frames here is good. I actually was looking at B-Wave this morning. Obviously got a little bit of time before it eventually potentially sets up here. ABC going with that general trend direction, possibly V reversal in and break to the downside. So I agree with the short bias. It's just not a very clean setup on EURUCAD. Euro pound, yeah, Euro pound I went through. So this is better. Notice how this is better here. And then we get this into that corrective. So this is a little bit cleaner than EURUCAD. I went through that as well. It's not too bad. Finally, pound yen. Pound yen. Pound yen. pound yen. You're looking here. Yeah, that's not bad actually. Pound yen. Looks nicer on the hourly than it does on the 30-minute. I think this in terms of range. Oh, actually no, it's okay. Because we can consider this a view reversal cut with handle actually. Here. Tag the area there. Corrective. Push in. It would need to break now essentially. It would need to break on London Open and retest to go long. I don't mind that, you know. I don't mind that. There is that kind of key area here on the 4 hour. You have the 200 on this 4 hour to be aware of. Why is that there? We have this, as I said, the 200 and resistance here to be aware of. We have moved quite nicely. Stocks are pushing, which should weaken off that yen, but we've seen the volatility that we've got. Do I think it should get up around there? Yeah, probably. It depends whether your risk reward, which it probably will be, because your previous swing from the way I'm looking at would probably be there. If you get, say, a whatever, something like this to take to the upside, your risk reward would be okay. Above the 200, above the 20. Yeah, I don't mind that idea, Omar. Don't mind that at all. We're not massive. Okay, we've moved quite well, but we're not really extended from that 20. Yeah, I don't mind that, Omar. That's not a bad idea. So I like Aussie Swiss. I think both of us had that, but that's gone. I didn't like EuroCAD. I like Euro Pound, and I like GJ. So yeah, well done, well done. Anything else you guys want me to? Actually, there's a few ideas. Have a look at a few ideas. Who we've got? Canon 10 USD sell setup on USD Swiss. That's a hell of a risk reward as well. Look at that. That's about a 20. Daily and 4 hour support zone got rejected nicely on the 1 hour. Bear flags correction. I'm planning to enter below that small correction. Stop loss above the swing high. Target way down below. USD Swiss. I mean, it is a little bit climactic, right? It is a little bit climactic. USD selling the dollar, buying the Swiss. Not sure on that. It looks better on smaller time frames, but I agree they could be a little bit extended on that daily. So yeah, maybe. I like it on the 30. I like it on the 1 hour. But yeah, this is certainly extended, so we could get a pullback. Almost got trade. I took around 5 a.m. Nick, are you staying awake till 5 a.m. or are you waking up at 5 a.m.? So I'm posting it now. Woke up later and just checked it out. Good example of break and retest of a trend line. That was one of my confluence I've seen NZD Kiwi USD does frequently. So this is a good little point here. This is market characteristics. So again, if you're newer and you don't know this, each individual pair, I mean, there are some correlations, but pairs have their own personality. Gold moves differently from GJ. You know, Kiwi dollar has its own. I love the Kiwi dollar. It's one of my favorite pairs for breakout retest. GJ moves differently. Gold moves differently. Indexes move differently. Market characteristics. So, for example, with my trade management, it's all the same apart from with GJ. So GJ, if I see a shift in momentum, I'm out because that's what my back testing has told me because it's quite a volatile pair. So this is a good little point from Nick here about understanding your individual pairs. And Kiwi dollar, I really like it. I think it moves very well. So I went my gut and weighted it out. There we go. So NZD USD. What time frame is this, Nick? Anyway, great trade. Let's see if you've hit TP. NZD USD. So your TP is up here, right? So I presume you might be looking at taking profits there at some point soon, right? Or are you a little bit worried about this particular bar here? Although, in saying that, this looks great. 4 hour looks great. I mean, if it was me, Nick, I would be holding on to that trade. I know the dollar looks strong, but look at the daily, right? I mean, if you get your, I think it needs more corrective than this, but if you get your, I mean, you could say ABC continuation, or you could say something like this. I mean, I know you got to stick to your plan, right? I mean, it's all about your plan. But I'd be looking at, if I was in your position, saying, well, if this is, is volume coming here? A little bit of volume, possibly. A, B, C. If you do push on, that could be a hell of a trade. DE30 and UK 100, 1 hour, my best setups today. Okay, let's have a look at that. UK 100. DE. The German, this one. What's DE? Am I being stupid here? What's DE? Being GE? UK 100. Let's have a look at UK 100. UK 100. I mean, I guess you're looking here, right? Silver. This is the thing right now. Things are kind of breaking from relatively deep, right? So we're getting either a lot of fake outs, or we're getting just movements to the upside. We're not getting very many retests right now. But I guess you're looking at a reversal corrective push through, which I presume would probably be gone right now for you, right? UK 100. But what's DE? Yeah, I thought, yeah, so the German 40. Yeah, I was looking at that as well. Silver, I was looking at that as well. I had my level in here. I thought I needed a little bit more from this area because we all consider the basing structure to be here. Actually, it's okay. It is okay. You know, decent on the daily, 4 hour above that 20. This may be an issue. Yeah, I think it's okay. I wouldn't say it's A class, but I think there's something there if it does come back and retest. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, certainly if markets decide to push on, it would be a decent area to enter in, right? Yeah. Yeah, why not? Maybe go on, yeah, exactly. Okay, that's it, guys. I'll go. I'll let you type silver. I'll go into my ABC now for whoever wants to stay on and listen. Reach levels before COVID. Before COVID. Ah, here. Big support zone. Is that what you're talking? Pre-COVID high, is that what you mean? Well, it did. I mean, it kind of broke you here, silver. You know? Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I always like the idea of indexes long. Always. I think there's certainly, I think there's certainly a trade there. Yep. I would agree. I would just watch out for that 200. It may not even get to you. If it does retest, yeah, absolutely. Why not? I can absolutely see the bias for both. I had a potential setup. I was looking at this a while ago down here. It was over Asia though. So I was looking at it here. Cut with handle, corrective back in, push on, A, B, and this outside bullish engulfer at C. So I was close to taking this, but I think it was about 8:30 in the morning. And I didn't like the idea of this is the volume we were getting in. We like to see an uptick a little bit more. And obviously it was a wrong decision in hindsight. But actually it wasn't the wrong decision in hindsight because I usually like to trade over London. But there was something I was looking at back then, which is quite good. So yeah. I would agree with the bias, Silver. I'd agree with the bias. Okay, anything else you guys want me to look at before I go into the ABC? If not, if you are okay with it, if you want to hop off, I will not be offended. No? Okay. Okay, so let's go through my ABC, my favorite type of pullback, and why I like it. I'll do a little short presentation. I actually need to do a proper video on this in the Trading Academy, but we are doing things behind the scenes, which will be a few changes in the coming months. So, as we know, let me put you guys up here so I can see if you've got any questions. So as we know, with healthy trending markets, right, we push up, we correct. We push up, we correct, we push up, correct. I.e. Dow theory, we're making higher highs, we're making higher lows, we're moving to the upside, right? Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher lows, right? A uptrending market, okay? So within our uptrends, we have impulse, we have corrective, we have impulse in the corrective. So the ABC comes here in our corrective phase. It's a type of pullback. So push on, pullback, push on, pullback. Within our pullbacks, we get two types. We get our single leg pullback, and number two, we get our multi-leg pullback. So the ABC is a form of a multi-leg pullback, okay? Where a single leg is like this, we push on. A multi-leg could be like this, an ABC, or, so we've got A, B, C, push on. And then we can also have a kind of channel corrective where we get a little bit more and we continue, i.e. like this. A, B, C, D, E, if you want to call it. All right, so those are our types of pullbacks, single leg and multi-leg. Let me go into why I like the ABC. So in order to say why I like the ABC, it's because we have to understand that 95% of retail traders fail, okay? I'll let you type Nick before I go on. Oh, you're not typing, okay. So yeah, we have to understand that 95% of retail traders fail. So within the ABC, we're looking at the failure. Yeah, I mean, yes and no, Nick, yes and no. It's it has a little bit more complex reasoning than that in terms of price action stuff, but because there's a bit more facets to it. So yes and no. So within our I've lost my chain of thought. Within our ABC, we're liking to see retail stops stopped out. Okay. So if we push on, and this is where our Fibonacci, Nick, this Fibonacci and our 20-period SMA comes in. Okay. So if we again think about the rule that markets range or pull back 70% of the time and trend 30% of the time, right? So we have this impulse to the upside and we have price action coming back to around here. This for me, just by looking at price action, right, is not enough. Again, we add something else into this. We add our 20-period SMA, which possibly on an impulse like this is down here, right? We don't want to see, okay, let's do this. We don't want to see massive gaps between price action and that 20 SMA. Okay, we also don't want to see price not reaching that roughly around the 40-60 box. So if we move from here, our 40-60 box will probably roughly be in here. We don't want to see price not entering into this area that I consider to be a healthy pullback. So now, if we do have this, okay, and then let's think about it from a psychological point of view, where, again, 95% of retail fail, okay? We come down and create a wave. So remember, we're in an upward trending environment. And then we have, let's say, Aaron. So we got Aaron here at a wave saying that, okay, we're in an uptrending environment. We start to move to the upside. I consider this pullback complete. I'm going to buy this pair or whatever it is index at a wave. Okay, Aaron starts to become very happy because price is moving to the upside. Okay, and then what happens? Price starts to kind of falter at an area that doesn't breach through the highs, creating our B wave. Okay. Now, at B wave, what have we technically created? So at B wave, what have we technically created? If we start coming down here, think about Dow theory. Yeah, great. Yeah, so we created a lower high. But remember, within Dow theory, we've got our primary trend. Right, we've got our secondary trend. Yep, Aoife, well done. And we've got our tertiary trend, but we won't worry about our tertiary trend. Okay, we'll think about the primary trend and the secondary trend. So what retail do, and what retail do wrongly, is they identify this as a lower high, right, in terms of our primary trend, thinking that this is now, this pair or whatever it is, index, crypto, whatever, is now changing trend, but is actually involved in our secondary trend within our primary trend, okay? So this is actually not a lower high. It's part of our secondary trend. Okay. So then we have, who have we got in here? Then we've got EFO. Again, this is just correct, yeah. So then we got EFO selling at B wave, thinking, okay, this is a lower high. Okay, we're coming back down. Now at this point, this market comes back down. What's Aaron going to do? He's up in profit. He's quite happy. Aaron's off to the bank, going to buy, buy clothes for his missus, and his profit starts coming back down, right? Right, he's going to start to get worried out of his position, possibly start exiting out of positions. Where's the likely scenario that Aaron's going to have his stop loss? You know, if Aaron thinks this is the pullback for a continuation of that trend, it's probably going to be here, right? Remember, stop punts happen. Retail, institutions don't be blinded by the fact. Absolutely, they happen. They take out retail stops all the time. So he starts to become worried. Stops become over here. We come back to probably again somewhere around here. So within A wave, our 20 period and our 40-60 box is underneath where Aaron's buying it, right? So within our healthy trends, the market does probably want to come down to this area within the 40-60 box, start to move to the upside. Okay, so at B wave, so Aaron then starts to exit that position and possibly being stopped out as price breaches where his stop locations are. Okay? Yeah? Okay, so Aaron's now out. The first retail trader is now out and pissed off with the market because he bought too early. Okay? Again, using that 20, using that Fibonacci. Then we've got, who is this? EFO, who's happy at this position. He's sold. He or she, sorry, EFO. Excuse me. He or she has sold and is quite happy because price is moving down. And then what happens around that 40-60, around that 20 period SMA, price starts to move back to the upside. So as we do this, what is EFO going to think? Oh shit, what's happening here? I'm going to start exiting out my positions. I thought this was a lower high. It's now starting to come up. And we've got the complete opposite scenario. And where's EFO stop going to be, right? Sorry, EFO, I apologize. I apologize. He or she. Okay, yeah, great, okay. Correct, Nick. So stops are going to be above B wave, right? So EFO becomes annoyed, and then what we normally see, because remember, the primary trend is to the upside, right? Is this price, normally you get a decent reaction around B wave, because of stops are here, and as institutions start to enter into this trade, okay? Not only that, if I take this, let me try and make this a little bit neater. Okay, so we've got EFO now starting to exit our positions. We've got Aaron stopped out, and we start to push on. This C wave will probably come, as I said, between that 20 and that 40-60 box. But also what we want to see is volume coming into C wave. Okay, because again, institutions move the market. So we want to see C wave. And as just by looking at it, even if it's just a line chart, does it not look already a little bit more digested and ready to move rather than from here to here? It does, right? So that's one of the reasons why I do like the ABC. Now, in terms of entries, okay, there's a few entries with it. Okay, we've got our ABC here. So we can also have an ABC 1-2. Okay, let's say 1-2. Okay, but what we don't want to see, right, there is an entry at C wave. I'd use that for my breakout retest with high volume, yep. But in terms of, I'm just talking about ABC in general. Okay, so there's entry at C wave on a catalyst, as I said, with a breakout retest. There's an entry mainly for me, my favorite entry is on that break of B. But we don't want to see price move from deep. We want to see our healthy correctives. And this is where sometimes our context comes in. So if we've got here, sometimes it can turn into a head and shoulders, right? It can turn into a cup with handle. Whatever it is, we just don't want to take a break because even though we're in an uptrend environment, it's still susceptible to a snapback and a fake out to move to the downside, okay? So we still want to see healthy price action move up to B wave before we do. Okay, so we got C wave, i.e. your yes, you could say, and essentially a pullback entry, volume coming in. We've got B wave. We've obviously got breaks of the highs, where again, we don't want to see price just move from deep. Personally, if you're taking a break from A, you want to see healthy price action moving into it. And then again, as a final entry, you've got, you could take an entry at 2, and then you've got a break of 1 where your stop is down there. So that is the ABC. It is a great pattern. I was showing it this morning. If we look at, let's say, Bitcoin, because I was showing this to Amir this morning. If we look at Bitcoin, a squeeze in terms of what, Nikolai? Squeeze in terms of where? So if we look at Bitcoin daily, and again, I was showing this morning. Here we've got one here, ABC, right? So ABC. Now, sometimes where you get sometimes where you get it is in the form of what I call a hard reset, where we get what I call impulse, loss of momentum, harder reset. And we've kind of got here. So we've got our impulse to the upside, i.e. price action moving quite healthily to the upside. We've then got our, our loss of momentum here. Okay, loss of momentum. Now, how you can see that and how it's easier to see is you put a line chart on it, right? So you can see that here. Impulse, we're losing momentum to the upside. And I can show you another good example. I'll put it on the chat because it's a bit far away in the SPX. Great examples of impulse, loss momentum, ABC. But when you find these harder resets, they do come in the form of an ABC, where you get an ABC and then bang, push to the upside. So a great example there of how it works. And yes, I mean, you can say essentially it's a pullback entry. It's a little bit of probably added into that, but it's certainly something as a basics. It's a very simple pattern that you should know, and understanding the psychology behind it. That's why I use a fib level to catch possibly C wave and enter the beginning of the move on gun retracement. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. But you can sometimes get, move this up. You can sometimes get a wave that breaches. I mean, if we think about GJ a few weeks ago, that does breach when the 40-60. And this is where I say, where this impulse is, where this movement or corrective is a bit impulsive, this is where it needs to turn into a complex just to digest this move to the downside. So we can get a wave breaching into that 40-60 box. But again, this is where we talk about price action, what price action looks like in order for continuation to the upside, i.e. our V reversal back. But yeah, anyway, that was my kind of short introduction into the ABC. Hopefully that helps some of you newer ones. But essentially, yeah, it is a pullback entry. And there's various different ways you can use it. I know somebody that trades ABCs just irrespective, just purely trades ABCs, and and trades them very well. But good thing to add into your arsenal of trend theory and price action. Yeah. So when you talk about retest of trend line key level, that's essentially when I use the ABC for my breakout retest, Nick. So if I have my context, I'm looking for, let's say, whatever, cut with Ando, and I get my ABC. If C waves comes on high volume, this is essentially why I do it. Get my catalyst there, then that's my favorite type of retest. My favorite type of breakout is a breaker B, right? So my favorite type of breakout is essentially something like this to get me in from a trending market. Break a B wave here, because you often see, and if we go back to Bitcoin, quite a good move from those breaks. So if I go back here, the move has really started from that break, right? B wave, push. You understand it better now? Good, Aaron. Good. Mine is honestly a break and retest of the trend line to break it and hit it from the backside. No pun intended. Yeah. So here, this is why I'm looking at Bitcoin. So A, and you can get AB shallow C. I prefer an ABC, but you can get an AB shallow C where C wave doesn't break the highs of A, which is okay. But this is why essentially I'm looking at Bitcoin down there. So there is my knowledgeable or my lesson for the morning. Well, I think it's hard to say, Silver. I would probably say, if we've got a heavily trending markets like this, sometimes price action just doesn't reach it. In terms of why, I couldn't really tell you. Maybe there's just too much selling pressure coming in to breach these highs. I would say that was probably the best case scenario. Like I said, I don't like them as much, but when you get it on a daily chart, it's a little bit better. It's more often, you see these less often. It's more often you'll see that kind of clip of that area, right? Where it takes out, stops, and then it moves back down. But in terms of why, yeah, there's a few different probably scenarios why. Maybe it's just a healthy, in terms of a trending market, probably just a healthy trending market that doesn't breach these highs. Doesn't quite get up there. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Just not breaching the highs. Yeah. Correct. Right, guys, I better go. I'm actually interviewing someone in about 40 minutes for the admin position for RTFX. I think because A buyers are on breaky on a slight on profit to defend trade. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you could be right there as well, Silver. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, if we've got buying, selling pressure in here, then the big boys in here, they don't want this to start moving up too fast, yeah, or putting their positions into loss. So yeah, defending their position, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Good. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm interviewing someone in 40 minutes about the admin role for RTFX because it just makes it, hopefully makes your guy, well not your guy, it'll make my life easier, where you can speak to her about any kind of queries you have or any complaints. You just go to her and she won't tell me. All right, guys, have a great day. I probably won't be around a lot. I do have about 5 or 6 meetings today. Lots of stuff to do, but I will keep an eye on the. I will keep an eye on that USD knock for an aggressive entry. No, the bribes come straight to me, Nick. Always come straight to me. They're off the record. They're under the books. Under the books? No, under the table. Right, have a great day, guys. Remember to trade safe, and it looks like USD knock's coming off, so probably not. But trade safe, and I'll see you all in the morning. Peace.